What should you do if you are contemplating starting a business? How do you evaluate that, and what should your first steps be? This is a question I got from a guy who almost joined our sales team last April, Abdul, shout out. And it's a really important question to consider because entrepreneurship isn't for everybody. I think that's the best place to start is this game for you? Because it's really hard. It's very simple, don't get me wrong, there's nothing really complicated about it. Anyone can do it, as shown by this multitude of successful people at any intelligence level. My cats are running around in the background. If they run over here, I'll show you. You have to first of all evaluate, is that a worthwhile trade-off for you? And specifically, you need to detach your view on, I do X amount of work and I receive Y amount of money. That has to be completely separated. If you are doing things for the instant gratification of a paycheck, if that's what you've been used to for 20 years, that's a really hard transition and it's very scary, especially if you have dependents. If you don't have that buffer, then it's probably not the right call if you don't back yourself, right? So most people in this scenario will get funding, will get investment so they can have a salary, which is fine. It's a way to do it. It's a different game than I have played. I've bootstrapped all the companies that I've had. But essentially what you do is you create yourself another job. And that's probably okay. That's probably actually better than what you want, or than what your idea was investment's probably the right route because you'll have people to guide you. But that does mean that you don't have full autonomy. Someone else, you report to someone else at the end of the day. If they're paying for it, the odds are they will get a significant say in what's done. So first of all, expect to fail. Once you have created this gap of I'm about to work for 3-5 years and not make a single penny, that's the reality. And that's the amount of work that you will likely put in your first year or two. If you are unwilling to do that and not get paid for it, probably don't even start. Or look at the investment route, because you'll still get paid either way, even when the company fails, right? So it's like 90-something% of companies fail within the first couple of years. Like it's the odds aren't good. That being said, how can you drastically increase the odds? If you've decided, actually, I do want to build something, and you've got a reason as to why, if the idea is money, I promise you this is not the best way. I will tell you when I'm there, when I've sold out and I'm at the top, I'll tell you what I believe, but my current belief right now is that it's not going to be worth it if money is the goal. I think you can get some very high paying jobs, learning skills, earning hundreds of thousands of pounds a year, maybe even up to $1 million, and you do that for a few years. If you're not stupid, you're set, right? So if money is the goal, probably reconsider. But if you want to make an impact because you see there's a specific issue that you want fixing and you want to make money, then a business is a great way to go about it. Money is not the devil. I need to point out here, the more money you have, the more money you charge, the more people you can help, because the more resources you have at your disposal. You've got to understand that too. If you try and run any company on break-even / losing money, it becomes super stressful, the quality of your product and service drastically decreases, and this is a death spiral. Everything goes so south. So you need to understand that you're going to put in a ton of work without getting paid, and also you have to eventually charge what this stuff is worth and more in order to be able to do this at scale, because scale adds complexity. So how can you get rid of this issue of complexity? Start with something very, very, very simple. My company right now, it's the simplest company I've ever done, is we teach one exam, one level, one subject, one age group. That's it, one exam. And it still has a ton of complexity that causes real problems. If you added in extra levels or extra subjects, the complexity just multiplies. And I'm not talking about like a little multiplication. You know how COVID spread exponentially, like it did dead, the whole planet had it? That's what happens when you scale, right? It goes, oh, this is pretty linear when you go from 1 client to 10 clients to maybe 100 clients. The moment you start to cross about 100, it then starts to do this. And it gets 10 times harder to get to 200. And it gets 100 times harder to get to 1,000. Now, there's a funny bit, once you get to about 1,000, these numbers are, it depends on what you're doing, but then there's very little stopping you from being able to go to 10. 1,000 if you have all the systems in place. But building those systems ain't easy. And then going past that opens up a whole boatload of stuff that I have never dealt with, and I imagine is tough, really tough. So do not start with something complicated. It has to be exceptionally simple, because it will be complicated by turning it into a business. What is a business? A business is a self-functioning entity. Most companies will start off, most businesses will start off as an individual with a high-paying job, and that's okay, but you have to understand the difference here. A high-paying job is not a business. A business will run without you. It has each of the arms of a business that is required that run independently. You have marketing, sales, fulfillment, offboarding, customer service, and all of these things happen separately. So the odds of you having a company with only one person is quite low, unless you're very, very good at automating. And so that's another detachment, but again, it's just a label. No one actually cares, right? But I can tell you it's not passive. Okay. So how do you now drastically increase the chance that you win? If I was starting again, which I have done, this is my third real business, maybe my 7th or 8th attempt, like at a crappy sort of thing. My third one that's generated anywhere north of, hundreds of thousands of pounds. Let me just show you Rocco. He's being a pain in the butt. Say hi, buddy. Oh. So he's not allowed up here, but he's a cutie. How do you drastically increase the chance of success? Okay, the trick is do something you already know how to do. So for Abdul, who sent me this message, he's working as an early mental health practitioner at the moment, which is pretty cool. But he's been a tutor in the past, he's in education, he's an academic, all this sort of stuff, and he's currently been building a course and delivering a course for GCSE English for up to 200 people at a time. And he's been getting good feedback, which is nice to hear. So what would I do in your specific scenario, Abdul? First one, it becomes a lot easier to sell yourself and to understand how good you are and the impact you make if you can quantify the improvements, right? Subjective feedback, likely what you're getting, is very, very useful because that is what people will stay for. They will stay in whatever your product or service is for this. They will stay for the subjective things, for it makes them feel better, they enjoy it, the emotional stuff, that they will sign up because of your results. So quantifying the result that you actually get for people, that's going to help people get through the door and fill you with confidence that what you deliver is actually worth the amount you're going to charge. If you cannot do that, it is a sign of a company that doesn't deliver true value. Now I'm not saying there's a guaranteed connection there, but it's often correlated. If you cannot show without a shadow of a doubt that you're better than everyone else, why should they pick you? Right? Because it makes them feel better when they can feel better anywhere else, right? And I totally agree, that's important stuff. That is what's going to keep them, but it's not what's going to get them to sign up in the first place. So as a point one, first point of anything I'd ever do, if I have a thing that I want to build, is make sure that the thing works. And if not, that's what you need to do first. So what's the best way to go about this? I got this directly from Alex Hormozi. It's in his books, it's really simple. Offer it to people for free. You build a course, or build whatever it is, your service, you deliver it for free to get, on the condition that they turn up, they do it, and you get testimonials. You use those testimonials to figure out, is your service where it needs to be? And then you iterate it and you get better and better and better, and then you raise the price per person, right? And you keep raising the price, or maybe every 5 signups or something like that, until you reach the point where people stop buying. And then you have found out how much your thing should be charged for, right? And again, this is where you need separate silos. You need the metrics to be able to track this percentage of this much work goes into get it, and money goes into getting a client who pay me this much. We need to maximize that difference, right? You need to maximize the amount of money you get for the time and combination money you spend to acquire the customer. Once that is maximized, you have now reached your efficiency, your optimum point for where you're at right now with the product that you offer. And it could be that you've reached the peak of the quality of your product. It could be that you have peaked on your marketing capability or your sales capability, each time you improve one of those things, that price ceiling should go up. But it's a really great indicator to know exactly how much to charge, and you should test this. This is something I didn't do in many of my early businesses, and it cost me a load of money. Don't do that. So that's where I would start. Get proof that your stuff works. Get as many people on there as fast as you can to get real feedback, and make the customer the single most important thing, right? List down everything you could ever do to solve their problem, from highest impact, highest value to them, all the way to the lowest, and then you also rank within that same scale on each item how much it costs you to fulfill. And you want to do all of the highest impact with the lowest fulfillment. That's where you start. And likely, if you're going to be newer, a bespoke service, you're going to do some of those hard, high time commitment things as well, which are super high value that other people aren't going to offer. And that's the reality of why you need to charge so much, because it's going to take a lot of time to get the result that you want, but you need to know what that result actually looks like. That's where I'd start. It's actually really easy and really simple. You just need to contact people that you know. Every single person on your phone list is a lead. Give them a call and say, send them a message saying, hey, I'm doing this thing. Do you know of anyone that would be interested? Just want to get some feedback on the thing that I'm doing. Come on. Yep. Oh, here he comes. And yeah, buddy. Hey. And that's where I would start. And then from there, you improve your service. You start charging for it. And if people aren't willing to pay you, obviously not that good, and that's okay. And you're going to suck because you're starting. Unless you are doing something you've had years and years and years of experience at. That's the process. And then you need to realistically spend 4 hours of your day. Once you have a thing that you're going to sell, you need to spend 4 hours of your day marketing. So letting people know that your stuff exists. There's a whole book, again, Alex Hormozy, just look him up. You'll find all 3 books of how to do these 3 things. So you will spend 4 hours a day telling people you exist. And I promise no one knows. And even the people that you've told don't remember. Tell them. Tell them that you exist, and if they're interested, here's the help. Next, you're going to spend probably 4 hours a day building, so creating and improving the system that you are built, and then you're probably also going to do 4 hours a day on fulfilling your customers and answering customer service queries, etc., etc., etc. And you probably realize that's 12 hours of real work, whereas most people's jobs are 4 hours of work spread across an 8-hour day. So you're going to work 3 days for every day someone else does. That's the reality of it when you're small, okay? Go in with that expectation, put in the work, use Clockify to actually track how much time you actually spend on things. You'll be shocked. If you clock a 10 or 12 hour day, man, you've gone hard. And that's what it takes. But other than that, it's really simple. Like, that's it. Let people know that you do stuff. Have stuff to give them, and then do it. That's it. And then, if people are willing to pay you, then you've got something good. Now, what do you do when you get to a point where you're like, this isn't working, I'm not making money? What's my issue? The lack there then is your skills, right? And a job might pay you whilst they pay for a course for you to attend to learn how to do a thing. It's not the reality of how the world works. No one's going to pay for you to learn anything. You have to pay out of your own money. You've got to take your own time to learn the skill, and then you've got to implement it. That's the job of an entrepreneur. So go through, learn the skills you're lacking, see which area of your business is struggling, and spend time learning that skill. And you pay someone to do it. You're either paying in time or money. I promise money's faster and more worthwhile. Rocco, shut up, bud. So you've got to go out of your way. You're going to spend your own money to work for free to then hopefully build something great. And the way that you earn big money in business is by serving more people. Come here, little fussbot. Is by doing something fantastically and serving a lot of people. The more people you serve, your earning is directly proportional to that. Okay? So you have to have something fantastic, one, for people, a single person to buy it, and then you have to go at scale if you want a business. I would actually push back on this at this point because most people don't want a business. They want a high-paying job. Most people want to not work weekends and maximize their earning per hour and only do, 6 to 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. And if that's you, that's okay, but understand that building a business is 100% not that. And you can still earn a ton of money doing that. And so that's probably the best place for you to be. Now, the start of that process is actually really similar, but then you just wouldn't hire departments to do each of it so that you can focus on only the most impactful stuff, right? You might just have an admin person that helps you with a little bit here and there, or automating some stuff so you can be slightly more efficient, but you're not scaling up to a big business. There you go. He's also had a load more questions, one more question about moving to Australia, which I will answer tomorrow. So hopefully that was fun, and my insights on how would I start a business, and what things would I consider before deciding to do so. Hope that helps.